There's a new Holy Father of the world's Catholics, and he's an American. Seth Doane reports from the Vatican.
The
267th Pope called for peace in ongoing conflicts and wished Happy Mother's Day at Mass this morning.
Buona festa a tutte le mamme.
He represents both continuity and change for this 2,000-year-old church, now for the first time led by an American pope. Dressed in those storied papal vestments is a tennis-loving, wordle-playing White Sox fan from Chicago, a former math major at Villanova University, who's now Pontiff Leo XIV.
Amen.
Ahead of the conclave that selected Robert Prevost, there was the scramble for clues from cardinals. Are names mentioned?
No names. No names.
The anticipation was palpable, watching and waiting. John and Jill Bowling traveled from Illinois.
We came just for this.
Even though they're not Catholic.
Something I've wanted to do since I was a child, watching on television. I just thought one day I want to be standing there.
By Thursday afternoon, tens of thousands were shoulder to shoulder, hoping to witness history.
White smoke. White smoke.
Habemus Papam.
We have a pope, the cardinal announced, and soon we heard the name.
Cardinalem Prevost.
Wow. Prevost, an American pope. An American pope. An American pope.
To an estimated crowd of 150,000, the new pope spoke in Italian, Latin, and Spanish, vowing to build bridges.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
Friday, he returned to the Sistine Chapel.
I begin with a word in English.
The first native English-speaking pope since Adrian IV of England in the 12th century.
I know I can rely on each and every one of you to walk with me.
While Cardinal Prevost was seen as papabile, or pope-worthy, a pontiff from the U.S. was widely considered unlikely.
The world is watching that chimney.
So we were surprised when we heard this from papal biographer Austin Ivory ahead of the conclave.
I think you should probably get ready to have the first American pope, because
American pope?
I'm hearing Cardinal Prevost, who heads up bishops here.
You called it.
Yeah, I was pretty convinced.
He was one of the few. We met again after the conclave.
The list of requirements for a pope, it's not easy. You've got to be evangelizer in chief. You need to be a statesman who can interact with world leaders. And you need to be a good governor of this place. And I thought Prevost just brings those together in a beautiful way.
On Saturday, the new pope made some surprise appearances after meeting with cardinals to detail his vision, identifying artificial intelligence as one of our biggest threats, and embracing his predecessor's ideals of a more inclusive church, one that reaches to those on the margins. Prevost went to Peru as a missionary. He spent 20 years there and became a citizen.
He's American, but he feels very Peruvian.
Father Alexander Lamb, who's Peruvian, was thrilled
We jumped.
that his fellow Augustinian priest became pontiff.
What kind of pope do you think he'll be?
He's a very prudent person who can hear you passionately. He's trying always to understand you very well.
But that title, Leo XIV, may take some getting used to.
His very close friends call him Bob.
Those 133 cardinals took just 2 days to choose Bob, while locked in the Sistine Chapel, a tradition born out of, well, necessity.
This is where the first conclave took place.
Back in 1268.
Here, something really important happened.
In Viterbo, north of Rome, we met art historian Giordano Conticelli.
a group of cardinals gathered together to elect the new pope. And the problem was that it took a long time. It took about 3 years almost.
A very long time.
Yes, 33 months.
1,006 days to be exact.
The citizens were getting tired of waiting for a pope.
They were absolutely exhausted. So they decided to lock the cardinal inside, clausi cum clave, which literally means locked with a key, which is where the word conclaves comes from.
But then they got more extreme.
The next measure was to ration their food. And then eventually, given that wasn't working, they decided to remove the roof of the hole.
Removing the roof to let the elements in was not necessary this time around. John and Jill Bowling had a much shorter wait.
It was just one of those moments that you can't replace. I was surprised how emotional I was. I think it says something about the unity of humanity. That was moving to me.
Gathered in this timeless square, we met people of differing countries and convictions, many drawn not just by grand spectacle, but by belief or hope in a new moral leader who's not guided by national interests, but something greater.
When we look back at this conclave, how will it be remembered?
I think it might be remembered as the conclave that had to deal with the breakdown of the world order. They elected a man who had a very strong message from the balcony of bringing peace to the earth. What is the role of the Catholic Church in a time of war? Well, it's to obviously show the world that there is another way. And I think in Leo, we're going to see an American exercising a very different kind of leadership. And it's the task of the Pope to help us to recover that universal unity.